Let's talk about the new Fujifilm X-E5 camera, which I've been testing during my summer holiday in Faro, Algarve, Portugal. I spent a week here reviewing this camera for myself, but also for you. And I will not only tell you how good this camera is with lots of samples, but also I will compare it to the most popular camera in this world, Fujifilm X100VI. Is this camera even better together with the 23mm lens? What are the differences and is it worth buying? Let's stay till the end of this video and you will know everything about this new beautiful camera. Hi, my name is Chris Bassel and I'm using Fujifilm X cameras from the day one when they were introduced because I am working professionally as a journalist in Poland for the biggest Polish media for over 15 years. Reviewing cameras, drones and smartphones, but I'm also a photographer and I love Fujifilm cameras. I had my own X100F, X3 and 4 and I really love their colors and their culture of work. So I decided to take this little beautiful camera, Fujifilm X-E5, together with the new lens 23mm F2.8 formal holidays in Faro, Portugal. And look how beautiful it is here. So let's talk about this beautiful set, Fujifilm X-E5 and 23mm. Let's start with something which is the most important. So what are the differences between this camera and X100VI? So the biggest difference, of course, between those two cameras is that in X-E5 you can just exchange lenses. In X100 series, these are compact cameras, so the lens is, let's say, included, and it's a very good, sharp lens. It's 23mm f2. In that case, this set has 23mm as well, but it's f2.8, so you lose 1 EV when you choose this set. However, what you get is a big freedom, and this camera is definitely much more universal because of this idea of exchanging lenses. So those two cameras are very similar when it comes to weight and size. X-E5 is less than 500 without the lens. If you add the lens, it's 90 grams more. Wow, that's really a lightweight. So together this setup is a little bit more than 500, so it's very similar to X100 series. What I like more in this camera is this has a better grip, so you can use it more comfortable. What I also like is that Fujifilm used here special dial for changing film simulation modes, and well, similar dials are used in some new Fujifilm cameras, but they made some little design trick here. They put this dial inside the camera and gave us this little window where you can see the icon of modes. And I like it's from the design perspective, it looks really good, but the problem is that when you want to change it, it doesn't matter is it from the left side or from the right side, you always touch the special sensor which recognizes do you have your camera next to your eye or not. So basically every time you do it, you just turn off the main screen, and on this screen you can also see these modes, and you can their names and maybe even the description. So the design idea is very nice, but the execution very poor. So there are more differences with the design of those cameras. So what is very characteristic for X100 series is that they use so-called hybrid viewfinder, which is the mix of traditional rangefinder style viewfinder and electronic one. In that case, we have only the electronic viewfinder. However, the style, let's say, of this whole camera is also like a rangefinder style. So it's the viewfinder is not somewhere more or less in the middle or like, but it's rather in the corner, and you make pictures like this. So I will not complain if they keep the same quality of viewfinder that they use in X100 series. But the problem is that they decided to give us worse quality viewfinder. So instead of 3.69 million dots viewfinder, they offer us 2.30 something million dots. And well, okay, like for daily use, for street or just traveling from time to time making pictures, it's okay. I cannot complain during my trip here because yeah, it's fine, it's okay. But if we pay the same price, I really expect to get something better, not worse. And the same problem is with the screen. The screen is not the same quality as X100. It's lower resolution, and the resolution is 1 million dots, around million dots. In case of X100 is 1.69 million dots. Both screens are 3 inches, and well, again, the resolution is very poor. In daily use, I don't seem that very annoying. I think the quality is okay, just to have a little preview. But definitely the pictures look much worse on the screen here than when I download them to my smartphone onto the computer. The quality of the pictures is much better, and I would really love Fujifilm to put a high quality screen, just like in Leica cameras for example, when I can have joy from watching the pictures I made, those beautiful colors. When they give us this poor quality screen, well, those colors somehow disappear. I don't think like I have the proper view and quality of the pictures here. And in case that if that's a cheap camera, I'm okay with that because I don't pay much for the camera. But this camera is not cheap, it's expensive as most modern Fujifilm cameras. So the price for the camera itself is even more, a little bit more than X100VI. And when you add this new lens, it's even higher. And that's an issue for me. What's more, the X-E5 camera uses the same battery as X100 or some other smaller cameras from Fujifilm. And well, the problem is, I'm okay with that, but the problem is it runs out very fast. I barely make like 200-300 pictures with it, and that's even not enough for the full day of making pictures. And okay, when I buy this kind of camera, I always buy some additional batteries. I'm fine with that. The problem is that X100 runs visibly longer with this. So besides that, the inside of the camera is like everything the same as X100VI or X-T50 or X-T5. All those cameras use the 5th generation sensor, APS-C 40 megapixels, a BSI sensor, which is very good quality, good details. It doesn't make a lot of noise when you compare to the older sensor. So basically I like this sensor. It's also stabilized, and Fujifilm says it's 6 or 7 EV. In my opinion, the stabilization here is just okay. It's not very good like in Lumix cameras or in Sony cameras. It's just okay. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of these 40 megapixel sensors in Fujifilm cameras. I would love to have this older sensor, 26 megapixels, maybe even without the stabilization. I'm okay with that for pictures. But if they can be cheaper, much cheaper than now. This camera has a very beautiful design, just like X100 or some other cameras, and you have these 2 special dials at the top plate. The first one is for changing time. The second one is for exposure. Plus you have those 2 dials in the front and in the back to change your aperture or time or anything as you wish. Additionally, in the front you have this little dial also as well, so it has like around 5 functions. In the top you can find additional switch, which is very similar to the one that is used in X100 series. In that case, X-E5 it has a little bit different role. So first of all, it has 5 different functions. You can push it as like a normal button. You can also use it left side, right side, and also hold it longer left or right side. And all of those functions you can program, you can change. I use this in default mode, and when I put it left, it turns on digital converter. When I put it different on the opposite side, I could change the way how this converter is displayed, so you can use just a basic frame to see which part of the picture is cropped. You can also use the full frame so that the picture is like zoomed and you can see in the full frame the current frame. If you push the button, you can change the aspect ratio of your pictures. It's like 3:2, 1:1, 16:9, or any other else you can use. And I love this feature a lot. I think it's a fantastic way to improve the creativity and also the universal touch in this camera. So as you can see, this camera has this little joystick here, but it's located, in my opinion, a bit too low, because when I grab the camera, it's basically too low for my finger. I always need to move my finger down to operate it comfortably. It's the same issue as I have with XM5, for example, but well, that's just my opinion. Let me know, what do you think about it? What is also characteristic for this camera is this little switch here. These are the AF modes, from manual to continuous and single. It's the same as we had in X100, but something new in X-E series. This camera also has a very limited range of connections. USB-C, of course, for charging, micro HDMI, and only one mini jack input. This is for microphone, so you cannot connect your headphones, for example, to this. You can connect them if you have the adapter for USB-C. So very similar as we have in many other Fujifilm cameras. There's also only one port for SD cards next to the battery, which is also common for this kind of cameras. And we can see that, well, this camera is not made like in a professional way. It's not the only reason. As Fujifilm says, this camera is not weatherproof, weather resistant. You know, like if there is some little bit of rain here and there, or dust or sun like here, nothing should happen. But I would really look out if I would like to use this camera somewhere in the wildlife, somewhere in the mountains, or in a very harsh environment. It's good to have in mind. Okay, so let me stop complaining about this camera, because you may think I don't like it. The truth is, I really love Fujifilm X-E5 and I consider buying it for myself together with this beautiful small pancake lens. Why? Well, first of all, it's about the size and portability and universality. This camera has a huge advantage over X100 because you can switch lenses, and in case if it's that just the only camera you use, that's much more universal, because X100 you cannot change the lens. If it's a secondary camera, that's a different story, because then you can treat X100 just like a toy or additional B camera. But still, I think it's nice to have this option if you really don't need this hybrid viewfinder, or you don't care so much about the quality of the screen or the digital viewfinder. In my opinion, the quality of the screen and viewfinder is not bad. They are just okay, and they are good enough for me so that I am happy with using this camera. What is the most important here, of course, is the quality of the pictures. I really love the way that you have this switch that you can change and use film simulation modes, and there are also options you can also choose some additional film simulation modes that you can program here. You can add your own custom versions of it. And that's something that I love about this camera, because using those modes you can have a really beautiful quality straight out of the camera. I used here mostly Reala Ace mode and HEIF pictures. Most of them are not developed outside the camera, they are straight out of the camera, and you can see yourself how beautiful a quality they offer. When you're talking about the video quality, it's also okay. I mean, this is not a video camera, definitely. I would not recommend it to anyone who wants to have a camera mostly for video. Fujifilm has much better choices. For example, XS20, which is much better for video. But if you need to have like a small, but if you want to use it additionally for recording some nice looking videos for your short reel, for travel videos, just like additional, this camera offers it all. And also you can not only use this F-Log tool or F-Log profile, but also all those other film simulation profiles already in your camera. So you can use this video with built-in colors without any need to post-process them for these simple social media posts. So as you can see, the sun is going down, the day is going to the end. And same is with this video, with this review. I think this Fujifilm X-E5 is really a great camera, and I can recommend it to everyone who understand and like the general idea of this rangefinder style camera. I think it's a nice add-on to Fujifilm lineup. What I don't like is that for a little bit even higher price we get less features, in my opinion. That's something I don't like. But in general, this is a really great camera, and I had a lot of joy using it during my trip to Faro. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end of this video. I hope you liked it, and I also hope that you will subscribe to my channel, give me thumbs up, and also support me to grow this YouTube channel so that I can make more videos for you like that from many different locations, not only from Poland, where I live. Thank you so much. I also encourage you to check my review of OM System OM3 camera, which I took with myself to Morocco. If you like Fujifilm X-E5, I think you may also like the OM System newest camera, so please check my review as well. Thank you so much, and we see each other at the next video. Bye bye.